Right, so we carry on with the second reasons for intervention, that is the economic reasons. And well, it's split into, well, hold on a minute. Okay, I think this would be clearer. Need for raw materials, need for new markets, and need for new bases, and finally need for social stability, which for me it would be the very last part. Okay, the social reasons for colonization. All right. Let's see. Right, so for the need for raw materials, the Industrial Revolution, if you remember what the Industrial Revolution is, well, that's when Britain actually industrialized. They became a powerful country. So before that, they were mainly, well, agricultural, I guess. So mainly like farmers. Think of it as like a time when everybody was just farmers. And then after Industrial Revolution, everybody became factory workers. And so, of course, in this current period of time, we are no longer undergoing industrialization. We are already industrialized, and we are moving towards this, what do you call it, information technology kind of age, and where, robots replacing people as factory workers, that kind of things. So after Industrial Revolution, it caused an increase in productivity in British factories. So if you, and I'm saying it for the benefit of, there's definitely still some people who still would not understand what is industrialization. So like with, all right, thank you for YouTube. My video is now on YouTube, right? So as I was saying, so what was I saying? Yes, so before industrialization, if you were, let's say, a seamstress, okay, you were probably able to sew with your own hands, maybe one shirt a day, and then you can sell that one shirt a day. So in 30 days, if you work every single day without resting for the weekends, you get to sell 30 shirts, right? However, with Industrial Revolution, oh man, shut up. With Industrial Revolution, there comes about the time when you are able to use machines to produce your shirts. So maybe one machine can produce like 30 shirts a day. All right, so that would actually improve your productivity in the factory, and you're able to sell more shirts. If you're able to sell more shirts, oh my goodness, that's annoying. Right. So let's not get distracted and focus here. So if you're able to sell more shirts, you increase the productivity in yourself, and you're also able to earn more money. So that's an economic reason. Now, of course, when you are making more shirts, you definitely need more raw materials. So of course, I use the shirts example, that being easy to understand. But the other raw materials that were more in need were actually tin and rubber. So that's what Malaya is actually very rich in. So tin is used for making cans, as in those cans that you have for canned food. And rubber is used for automobile industry, that is in the cars, and that's mainly the tires. Right, so this is what they are being used for, in case you have no idea. Now, I created this slide some time ago. I have no idea what the picture at the bottom right is, but it looks pretty cool. Moving on. The need for raw materials. Now, so the British wanted to get tin and rubber from Malaya as it was cheap. I mean, it didn't mean to say that Britain didn't have tin and rubber, but of course Malaya had more tin and rubber. And the thing is, if I colonize a country, I would say that this is mine, and actually I can actually buy from Malaya that's cheaper. So in Britain, the tin was definitely too expensive. So, oh, sorry, I need to turn off the notifications for this. Right, hold on. All right, I have no idea how, so just let it run. Right, so coming back here, what was I saying? Right, so since British tin was more expensive, it was definitely better to get from Malaya, right? Now for Malaya, right, they are actually one of the biggest exporters of rubber at one point in time. They were, and the other comparable country would be, actually, if I'm not wrong, is Brazil. So at one point in time, Malaysia, or what we know today as Malaysia, they were really the biggest exporter of rubber. Okay, for many users other than just for tires, and of course for what you use as erasers, right? So there are many uses for rubber as well. And so if the British can manage to control Malaya, okay, the last point here, they would be able to manage the growing rubber industry that is in Malaya. Okay, so that's why there's a need for raw materials. The raw materials mainly being tin and rubber, which can be found richly in Malaya. Just so you know, Singapore, we have nothing. Okay, and our resources, or rather the only resources, that natural resources that we have is it's nothing. It's people are basically, okay. You and I, the human beings, we are our resource, and we have no natural resources. Unlike Malaya, and unlike Malaya and countries like Saudi Arabia, where they have like oil aplenty. So the second point, your need for new markets. Okay, now just now I talked about the ability to produce more clothes, right? So let's say previously you were able to sell 30 clothes in 1 month, and now you're able to sell 900 because the one machine can produce 90 pieces of clothing for you. But the problem is there actually enough people to buy your clothes? Or rather, do the people actually need so many clothes? Of course, well, for the ladies, I'm sure you will need a lot, but the problem is that, like, if you have money for it, right? So basically, you need a new market to sell to. Okay, so you produce too many goods, you need actually another place to sell the goods to. So of course, today is very easy. Okay, I put something online on, of course, for you guys, you know what is Carousel, I hope. Or if you buy things online, like the ladies again from blog shops, and for me, if you I want to sell something internationally, I can put it on something called eBay, and in minutes, I mean not in minutes, after somebody have successfully paid for the product that I want to sell, I can just ship it to him overseas. Now, last time it's not so easy, so they needed to find a new market for them to actually sell these goods that they had produced. Okay, so once they have control of Malaya, they can sort of like force them to buy it, or rather, actually, there will be a proper market for them to sell the goods. Okay. Now, so you see, if you have too many goods, okay, like this, you would have overproduction. You would have too many cars lying around, and then you wouldn't be able to sell them. So, if you have new markets, you would be able to sell the goods that you have made. So they would have access to the markets before the other European nations did. Okay, so like let's say I control Malaya, I'd be able to sign a deal with the Sultan. Say, okay, you buy British clothes better than French clothes, better than Spanish clothes or whatever other clothes there are, and then after that you'll be able to sell your stuff there lah. Okay, so the idea of a market, okay, when if you have no idea what a concept of a market is basically a place where you can sell things to. So, like for example, today they keep saying that China is a huge market, okay, very very huge because there's 1 billion people there. So I think it was the people from Nike who once said that, okay, if I'm able to sell one pair of shoes to every Chinese, I would basically be able to sell 1 billion pairs of shoes, which would earn me a ton of money. So China is a very huge market that people would like to go to. Okay, so that's the concept of markets. So the next thing that you need to know is bases. Okay, so what does it mean to have a base? So if okay, I put down here, refer to your textbook, page 46. Okay, so when you have a base, right? Okay, so now first of all, understand what is this talking about. So if you look at your textbook, right, you will be able to see this page 46. Okay, this part of the textbook. You would be able to see that from London, they actually sail all the way to Malaya. Okay, so using my mouse down here, this is where you are. Singapore is here, and this thing above is actually Malaya. So look at your textbook for that. So previously, the original routes that people sail from is the blue color one. Okay, from here past this place called the Cape of Good Hope. Okay, and up to here. Okay, so this is South Africa. Basically, the country South Africa is here. Supposedly, it's a very lovely place, Cape of Good Hope. And so you realize that, of course, sailing in this distance, it would take actually months to get there last time with the use of sail ships and not steamships. So when they open up the Suez Canal here, so basically, right, previously, the shortest water distance is actually here, and there was no actually water source. That means to say it's all land. This is all connected. So basically, before they built the Suez Canal, you could actually walk via land from Singapore all the way Asia. This is actually China, and then to Europe, and then walk over to Africa. Wow, we're actually connected to Africa by land before Suez Canal was built. So when they built the Suez Canal here, it basically allows for the ships to go through, and they take a shorter routes, okay, all the way down here. Hey, you see, that's why I thought, and you realize, okay, if you look at the map, right, there's no other way for them to cross above Malaysia. The fastest way is always past Singapore. So I think I talked about this when I was teaching, I think, Sec 1 classes or so, right? if someone someday was able to build another sort of canal somewhere here in Thailand, I'm not sure where, like, I haven't looked at it. I mean, if it was even possible in the first place, like maybe earthquake and then shift the land or don't know what, okay, then the shorter route will be here. Then they get up to China. China is here, and they will miss us completely, and that's when Singapore will die. Okay, so this is the shortest route that they can go from here all the way until Singapore. And since they have shortened the routes, they would actually need they would actually need more bases to stop by. So since there were more ships that were sailing along the routes, you need actually a base for them to be able to fight piracy, basically. Okay, so let's say if I'm able to base my ship in Singapore and Malacca, and then I would be able to launch my ships to be able to fight the piracy instead. Like let's say if I encounter, okay, so let's see, but let's say if I encounter pirates here, I can launch my ship over there to fight rather than from here sail all the way. By the time you get there, the pirates will be gone, right? So that's just a very, very simplistic way of saying that. Of course, if the pirates are here, you launch from here, it still take days to reach them. Okay, so that's just trying to explain to you what's the purpose of having a base. Okay, and finally, the last two, right? Social stability. So the British needed, peace for economic development. If the country is messy, you definitely cannot develop anything down there. So, like for example, today, Africa, where it's actually still most of the countries. Okay, let's not generalize here, but there are quite a few countries in Africa that still has dictators. Of course, that would be my opinion. Somebody might disagree with that. They'll have dictators running the country, and of course, if I want to go there to develop the place economically, it will be difficult because if I don't have peace, I cannot do anything. I cannot sell anything. So they're concerned about conflicts, and one of such conflicts was the Larut's Wars, okay, happening in Perak. It fights over secret societies such as Hai Sans and Gihins. Now, this is two separate secret societies that they had control over the tin mines. And so, because of these wars, there's no peace. If there's no peace, I cannot do business. If I cannot do business, there's no economic development for me. All right. And the second one is this thing called the second incident is the succession dispute. Okay, please look at your textbook. Okay, textbook page 48 for more details regarding this succession dispute. But basically, after this Sultan Ali died, he had two sons who could potentially take over. I think it's two sons. Or was it two brothers? Yeah, look at the textbook for the details. Okay, so two of them who were fighting over the succession of Sultan Ali in 1871. So because of this difference, right, in the succession, actually the British, oh no, sorry, this is actually linked to the Larut Wars. Okay, so actually there were one side who sided with the Gihins and one side sided with the Hai Sans. Okay, so because of this, it required the British to come in and stop all this fighting, right, and to establish peace. And if you were able to establish peace, then you would be able to ensure that your economic development would not be disrupted. So this can actually be classified as social reason, but it can also be classified as an economic reason as well. Okay, it is first of all classified as an economic reason, but you can put it under social reasons if the question asks for it. Like, for example, explain the social reasons why the British decided to intervene in Malaya. Okay. Now, the merchants, since they could not do business due to the chaos, they actually would ask for the British to intervene to ensure order. And if they are able to do that, then you would be able to do more business down there, lah. So basically, with peace, you will come about economic prosperity. All right. Right. There are many more details that you can find out from the textbook, but basically, that sums up the part for economic reasons why the British would want to colonize Malaya. All right, and the next part I think I'll be breaking this chapter into 4 parts. So there will be 3 more coming up. So this is part 1.2. So that finishes up the first part of this chapter.